Today is day 17th of the Vlogmas challenge. I'm having a very special guest today with me. I'm going to interview her and talk to her. She's my sister, Karen Calderon. She's a practitioner of Chinese medicine, and I'm talking to her a little bit about the feeling blues during the holiday season. So a lot of times people, for various reasons, start to feel a little blue over the holidays, and she came up with like 5 basic recommendations that you can look at in order to help you kind of boost your positive mind frame a little bit more to try to help you get out of that kind of blue state of mind. So here we go. It looks pretty level from there, but when you look at it from here, it does look a little crooked. Now, is my house crooked? Or is the sign crooked? But according to that level, it's level. But check it out. I just put that up. Adventure awaits. So Karen, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
It's so nice to see you.
Well, it's good to see you too. It's been a long time.
Have you been watching my daily vlogs lately?
I do actually. They're very good.
Yeah, so when I was making my vlogs, I'm always trying to come up with topics, and then I thought about, well, depression during the holidays or feeling blue during the holidays is a big thing, and for many, many reasons, and I kind of came up with a few reasons myself, like, when people are struggling financially, or they lost a loved one, or maybe they just, when they were a kid, they just had a really bad experience during the holidays, which leads them every year to experiencing some holiday blues, or kind of like a little bit of depression. This is not heavy depression, just a light depression. We're just talking kind of a feeling of blueness, right?
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you, like, hey, since you're a practitioner of Chinese medicine, I thought about asking you, like, hey, what are some things that some people can do during the holidays to help them get through that blue feeling?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think the main thing is, especially in the northern hemisphere, in Chinese medicine, we think of yin and yang energy. So yin is like, if you think of day and night, yin is the night and yang is the daytime. Yin is feminine, yang is masculine. Yin is winter, yang is summer. Yin is internal, yang is external.
Uh-huh.
So if you think about it, we're in December here in the Northern Hemisphere, and it's a yin time of the year. It's an internal time of the year. And the way society has created the holidays is extremely yang. So it's very external, right? It's all
Uh-huh.
about socializing. It's all about getting your gifts. Everybody's very busy. There's a lot of traffic. People get very hectic. So the first thing is to think about, you're kind of out of sync with the season.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So in your activities, it's kind of like in the spring, we all want to clean our house out because that's kind of naturally what's happening in nature. And so if we're in sync with the seasons, it's easier to be in balance. So I would say the first thing I would say is to take care of your internal world, to have a focus on your internal world.
Uh-huh.
And so, that could be just spending more time with yourself, or paying attention to how are you spending your time with yourself?
Uh-huh.
What kind of things are you saying to yourself? And a lot of times, if you observe without criticizing, you can find out why you're blue. Okay, I thought of giving a few different tools for people.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I think each person may resonate with a different tool.
Uh-huh.
So I would take whatever tool resonates with you and set up like a 21-day kind of practice, and make that 21 days a time where you can really observe, almost like if you were, when you wake up at night from your dreams and you're able to observe your dreams without getting identified. And so, if you were supposed to wake up and your alarm clock went off in your dreams, and you
Yeah.
didn't wake up, you don't get out of bed and beat yourself up about it. You just laugh about it and you go, oh, wow, I just noticed I didn't wake up. So
Yeah.
having that kind of perspective can really help get out of self-criticism. So each person will hone into a different aspect of what I'm talking about. And so you can really hone in on that. So the body, for example, one thing the people who chime in on this one, the body needs very stable environment. So the body's like a plant; it's an organism, and it needs certain situations to thrive. And so, the pillars of health in Chinese medicine are your sleep. So make sure, make a sleep ritual for yourself. In the winter, we should sleep a little bit longer than we do in the summer. So having more time of a good quality sleep, and make your bed a little extra nice. Put a pillow on it. Make it feel yummy for yourself.
Uh-huh.
Make yourself a bed ritual so you have a nicer sleep for yourself. Put some essential oils on at night. So that's your sleep, your nutrition. Make sure you're giving yourself good nutrition. People eat a lot of sugar during the holidays. Try to balance
Yeah.
that out by eating. If you're going to eat something sweet, eat it with a protein or fat, just to help balance out your blood sugars.
Uh-huh.
And just make sure you're getting good nutrition. You want to make sure, ideally 3 good meals a day,
Uh-huh.
but you know, if you have a really busy schedule, at least you want to have one really good, solid, nutritious meal. And then, of course, do your best to get the other 2 ones. But that's just in a minimalist type of way. But I'm going to go
Yeah.
for 3 nutritious meals.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then the other one is just get some exercise, go outside, get some movement in your body, look at the sun, make sure you get your vitamin D, get some fresh air in your lungs, some good oxygen. So those are the pillars of health for your body. So it's like a plant. If a plant goes in the sun and you put it in the shade, it's just not going to thrive. So just getting
Hmm.
those basic blocks to help support your physical, functioning is going to
Yeah.
be really helpful. So that's the physical side.
Uh-huh.
The next one I want to talk about is the emotions. So we all, aside from having a physical body, we have an emotional life,
Uh-huh.
and we have an emotional body in our aura as well. And
Uh-huh.
sometimes when people are blue or feel depressed, um, they are certain emotions they feel good about, and other ones they don't feel so good about. So the ones
Yeah.
they don't feel so good about, be aware of how you're spending time with those emotions. So I would recommend like befriending those emotions that you may not feel as comfortable about. And one of my teachers told me this beautiful thing that I always remember, that emotions are information delivery systems, and they help
Hmm.
guide us as to what is really aligned with us and what's
Uh-huh.
not.
Uh-huh.
And so those emotions that may not feel so comfortable, make friends with them and ask them what is the information you're trying to deliver to me. What is the information you're bringing to me? So today I was feeling really frustrated, and that's not
Uh-huh.
an emotion I like very much. So
Uh-huh.
finally, I was like, okay, I'm going to hang out with you. What do you have to tell me? What is it that you trying to communicate to me?
Uh-huh.
So that's hang out with your emotions, make friends with them. That's a practice.
Uh-huh.
And then the mental aspect is watch the where are you getting distracted? Where are you know, watch your addictions. So are you on your phone all day? You don't have to be an alcoholic to have addictions.
Yeah.
It can be anything. It can be things that are taking you away from what's actually essential to what's important to you should be paying attention to, that the signals that you're getting. So watch
Yeah.
those distractions and addictions and be disciplined and say no. So
Uh-huh.
for some people, um, it can be as being mean to yourself, judging yourself, self-sabotage. I mean, there's so many. What story are you feeding yourself that you don't like the holidays? Like you have to also. That's where you remove yourself, like in the dream, and you
Uh-huh.
don't get identified, and you say, okay, this is what I'm telling myself, and then you just have to be proactive and say no, and
Uh-huh.
make a new better story for yourself. You know.
Uh-huh.
So those are a few things. And then from a spiritual aspect, really beautiful practice is a gratitude practice.
Uh-huh.
Gratitude helps bring up your vibration. It makes you feel good, and it's very transformative. You can just for 5 minutes a day just write down what am I grateful for, and make it real. Like, I'm grateful that this chair is really comfortable right now. I mean, it can be as simple as like I had a wonderful night of sleep. And if you write it out, it usually gets more extensive, and it becomes like a song. It feels really, really good. So gratitude practice is a
Uh-huh.
really fun. It's really worth trying and cultivating. So those are some, the body, the emotions, the mind, and the spirit. I think,
Yeah,
which
that's really great. I mean, and the interesting thing is that, we should have done this conversation on December 1st, because if you have, like, you were saying 21 days, it takes 21 days, like do this practice for 21 days, then if we would have started on the 1st, by the 22nd you would have felt a whole different change. So like the 24th you'd be like really ready for Christmas, huh? Next year let's do that.
Well, yeah, and I mean, if you think we have the new year coming around, so let's just
Yeah.
say you do a 21-day gratitude practice. I mean,
Good.
what a great way to start off a new year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then, the idea of you take those 21 days and you can turn around and say, how did that affect my life? Did it have
Yeah.
a benefit? Did it have a benefit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did it make a
And
difference?
yeah, and it's really interesting what you said about the environment. And I'm reading a book. I'm going to start reading a book. Actually, Tomoko's reading the book right now. It's called Atomic Habits, and they talk about how putting yourself in the right environment is so important. And for productivity. This is more on productivity side, but what they did is, Tomoko was telling me that a cycling team in the UK had never, ever, ever won a race. Like, they were terrible. So they brought in this new coach that focused on putting the people in the right environment, like everything from every little aspect of their life, from the bed that they slept in, the pillow that they used, the sheets that they used, what time they woke up in the morning, what they did in the morning, like everything. They focused on that whole environment. And then all of a sudden these bicyclists that had never won a race started winning all the races. So I like what you said about environment. And I think it's really, really important.
That's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's super interesting. I mean, we get to create our environment. I mean, that's where we're
Yeah.
super powerful, right? We get to choose, what clothes am I going to wear today? I mean, that's a real simple thing, but we get to
Yeah.
choose all of these tiny little things that actually affect, like what you're saying, the environment.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
then diet, like I'm big on diet, like I stay away from sugar. I don't eat meat. I'm a vegan. So like I really hear you on that diet part, because honestly, I felt a difference when I stopped eating sugar. Yeah, I did get depressed for about a week because of the sugar withdrawals. And I
mhm.
remember that very clearly. And it almost made me afraid to eat sugar again, because if I wanted to stop again, I'd feel that depression again. But then I felt so much better, like just cutting sugar out completely. So I really hear you on that. And then exercise, I'm a big exercise guy, right? Like I exercise every day. I try to. So I know that how important those factors are. And especially like in my life, in my personal experiences, in the times that I've had the most difficulty in my life, it was the exercise that helped me a lot. Like I'd go out and I would do like a 10-mile run. And one day I did a 15-mile run just to help me deal with the things that I was dealing with at that time. But yeah, I mean, this is really great. I mean, so we covered the physical, right? The emotional side, the mental side, and the spiritual side. And it's kind of funny too, because I read a book called The Art of Fear. And this is an Olympic skier. She talks specifically about fear, not so much about depression, but just about fear, and how exactly what you said. When we're afraid of something, it's our emotions trying to tell us something. And these people that try to get rid of fear and try to ignore fear end up having like a big crash. And they so then what she was saying is that happened to her, and now she listens to her fear, and she doesn't. It's like listening to your emotions. I really like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, and one thing is listening, like if you have a fear, and another thing is indulging, because fear is kind of
Yeah.
a big thing right now. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's definitely, um, out of balance.
Yeah, because the whole
Fear.
COVID thing. Yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
the whole.
fear is meant to save your life in a fight or flight
Yeah,
situation, and that how
yeah,
often does that happen? Or it's a
yeah,
gut thing that you're walking down a street and you shouldn't be there. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
or these Olympic people are pushing their limits,
They're pushing
and,
their limits. Yeah,
yeah, so yeah, I mean, definitely there's going to be like a healthy relationship with our emotions, and then there's where
yeah,
we're overindulging and creating imbalance. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's the addiction. Are we addicted to our emotions, and where? I mean, that's for
yeah.
everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a big thing, addiction in today's society. I mean, people are so addicted to their phones. Like, you can't, like, I catch myself, sometimes I put my phone way far away because I catch myself like I'm just checking it to check it. There's nothing going on. I'm not getting any emails. I'm not getting any texts. And I pick up my phone to check it. It's like just an addiction. And
Yeah. I mean, and well, I think if you think about like an addiction is a distraction. So what are we
yeah,
distracting ourselves from? That's the important part. Like to go
yeah,
deep, go right in there. What
yeah,
am I distracted? Because that's where actually, those things that we're afraid to go into is actually where all the gifts are.
yeah,
Those are the jewels, and it's the ones that we run away from the strongest are really where the gifts are. and
yeah.
and so that's that's worth exploring. I think that's like really the beautiful part of having that courage and just diving in and
Hmm.
being curious, having that
Hmm.
spirit of curiosity and
Yeah,
investigation like a
yeah,
child. And because we don't know what's there, it's like we think it's something and that's why we're scared, but that something usually was something packed away in our childhood, or that
uh-huh.
when you come back years later with experience and you're like, oh, well, that's not that big of a deal,
Yeah,
like.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so,
I
but
remember.
sometimes it is, sorry, and in those situations it's good to get some professional help, like, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny. It's funny that you say that because I remember when I was a kid and I was not a kid that had that much fear. I remember that. And still there's a part of me that has no fear. Right. But now there's a huge part of me that has a lot of fear, and I'm very afraid of heights. Right. So rock climbing has become like a therapy for me because it took me a whole year to get up to the top of the wall because of my fear of falling. And I remember when I was a little kid and dad was building a tree house, and he told me to walk across the wood but not to pass a certain point. And I did. I was like, why shouldn't I pass that point? What's going to happen? And I passed that point, and the wood, it was like the wood just fell, and I fell off of the treehouse, and I hit the ground, and it was like, and I think that's probably where my source of fear of falling comes from. Like, I actually fell, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I deal with that, and yeah, and I love climbing, and the experience of overcoming that fear is really wonderful. So, another thing that you talked about is this on the spiritual side is the gratitude, right? Waking up every day, spending 5 minutes talking about something, writing out something that you're thankful for. And I think that's wonderful. I mean, I used to do that. I read a book called The Miracle Morning, and it's an author named Hal Elrod. Have you heard of that book?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay, okay. I've got to send it to you. But he's got this amazing routine that it's called The Miracle Morning, and you wake up every morning and you practice these 5 things that are called savers, right? It's solitude. Um, say, what does A stand for? A stands for S stands for savers, right? S stands for solitude. A stands for affirmations. V stands for vision training. E stands for exercise. R stands for reflecting, and S stands for scripting, like writing, right? And then one of his big things, let me see, let me just make sure. Miracle. This is it's so wonderful to have technology. Morning savers. Okay, so okay, yeah. So silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing and writing, right? and then he talks about in the writing part of it, always writing what you're grateful for, you know, and that really helped me a lot. And I used to do it every morning. I mean, I think I did it for. I mean, he says do it for 30 days, and I think I did it for like probably a whole year. Every morning I would do that routine. And, it would take me like maybe 10 minutes. Like you said, 5 minutes is enough, but this is probably a little bit more because you got to do reading and the exercise is not included in that 10 minutes. But yeah, I mean, I think that really like, that's an awesome advice, Karen. I think that's really, really great. Um, yeah, I mean that's I think all these whole things together is like it's like that triangle, right? The body, the mind, and the spirit, right?
Yep, that's
And that
because we are multi-dimensional beings. We have not just one. I mean, you can take care of your body like
uh,
in a real systematic way, but we have a mind, and if the mind isn't is if we don't have everything in kind of aligned, then we have one piece here, one piece there, one piece there, then things don't really work right. So we have to tend to each one of the parts.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Like, and I think like and even with the gratitude practice,
Uh-huh.
like I just, at least 5 minutes. Sometimes I do 10, like I'll sit down, and it's easy to start simple, like with a small amount of time. That way you can keep going if you want, but it's not going
Yeah.
to take up your whole day.
Oh,
Um,
excuse me.
but
Oh, excuse me.
you can go a step further and you can make a little gratitude altar for the holidays,
Yeah,
and put a
yeah.
little candle, put a picture of something you absolutely love and you're grateful for, and just light that little candle every day, and just after you've done your practice, and it just shows to yourself, I've done my practice, and it can
Hmm.
make a huge difference. Just acknowledging what
Yeah.
you're doing, the things that you're saying you're going to do, it just feels really good. I don't know if you've ever done anything like that.
And you do online consultations, and do you work with people? I know because you're doing acupuncture. Do you kind of work with people through online counseling, acupuncture, and herbal remedies for depression? I mean, is that something that you would do for people? Like, if they're looking for you, can they contact you? And you can probably work with people all over the world, right? Because of the technology nowadays, huh?
I can, yeah. So obviously for acupuncture, I do that mostly, in person.
Yeah, yeah,
But the acupuncture is, we're shifting energy, and we're shifting meridians. There are areas that are clogged, and it's like if you eat
yeah,
too much and you feel like your digestion is clogged, it's like
yeah.
that's going to be your stomach meridian. So, and there are areas that are weak. So if you haven't slept, then those meridians are going to be weak. And so there's aside from with needles, there are different ways that that those areas can be supported. And so that's, to answer your question, yes, I do. I do video
Yeah.
consults because I have many tools in my tool bag. So I do,
Uh-huh.
online consultations. We go over food, we go over, all of your habits, and I give suggestions for lifestyle modifications,
Hmm.
and also herbal remedies that are specifically tailored for what your pattern of imbalance is. and
Hmm.
then and then we do energy healing to go to the core of what might be like, to unravel those gifts,
Hmm.
and help realign the energy so that it's actually working for you rather than against you,
Hmm.
in sense of being out of balance, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
And,
yeah,
and
I do all that stuff online so I can help people from wherever, their own home, anywhere.
so
Yeah,
I'll put a link in my description of your page to make an appointment. Is that okay?
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
then people can just go to my description. They can click on the link and go directly into your scheduling software, and they can schedule a video consultation with you. And you usually talk with people via Zoom, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, 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 okay.
That's right. Yeah.
That is
Via Zoom.
awesome. That is awesome. I mean, I know from personal experience because you're my sister and you've come over and you've stuck me with needles and it works. Like when I hurt my back and you stuck me with needles, I was like, I immediately felt better. So it's like, it's just, to me, I find it as something amazing because I'm the kind of guy that I like to stay away from traditional Western medicine where they prescribe stuff to you, like medicines and stuff like that. I'm more like I like the natural homeopathic way where you're dealing with the person as an individual instead of trying to put a Band-Aid on the problem, you know?
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
in my clinical experience, I'm like you. I'm definitely, I like I like things natural. I trust my body has everything it needs to heal. But I've also learned, like in my clinical experience, that some people do come in with pharmaceuticals, and I can
yeah,
work with those people too.
yeah,
So some
yeah,
some people over time get stronger and work with their doctors to wean off of their pharmaceuticals, and
yeah,
other
yeah,
people, I've ev- I've learned you can't really put everybody in one box.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, so
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I definitely have the amplitude to work with people in all different kind of situations. Yeah.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is I work for a non-for-profit organization called Aim at Melanoma, doing a lot of their technical side on the Zoom and on their YouTube channel, editing their videos and stuff like that. And it's really interesting. Aim at Melanoma is a patient advocacy group for people with cancer, and it's just so interesting how now people, even the doctors that are trying to cure people from cancer, are starting to use acupuncturists in their treatments. So and meditation and yoga. So even now, like what we grew up with Western medicine is they thought acupuncturists were quacks. They even thought that chiropractors were quacks, and they were trying to stop chiropractors from practicing. I remember that when I was a kid, and now they're realizing that it's very effective, and they're actually starting to incorporate this kind of philosophy and treatment, treating the whole person into their practice. It's really interesting.
I mean, yeah, I agree, and I think my whole focus is really stepping away from this model of medicine that we have been indoctrinated into,
Yeah.
and that each person learning that you have everything in yourself to heal. So yeah, so my whole thing is to empower other people on their
Yeah.
healing journey, so that you know you learn to read your own body. that's
Yeah.
that's so you're not even, you're not going to someone to get fixed, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the way we've been taught as growing up. But I think that's really outdated.
Yeah.
I think it's like going to physical train, like when you go, because you want to get in shape, and you
Yeah.
go with your physical trainer, and they're there to
Yeah.
support you, but you
Yeah.
you are building your muscles. You're the one
Yeah.
who's
You're
in
doing the work.
charge. You're
Yeah.
doing the work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's awesome.
anyway, yeah. Yeah.
Well, Karen, this has been awesome. I really appreciate you, and I know that I think this is in my. I've been doing this Vlogmas challenge for the past 15 days, and I know that my whole idea is how can I give value to the people that are watching my vlog, and I think this is the first time I'm going to actually give anybody any value. you know,
I don't think so.
it's been 15 days of this is Erik Calderon's life, and look how exciting it is, and I am having so much fun, and I'm going here and I'm going there, and I think this is the first time that that we're gonna, you know, I'm gonna be able to provide some value. So I really appreciate you, and I appreciate you talking with you and getting on this call with you and all that. So thank you so much, Karen.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I just want to say, like, one more thing that's a
Yeah,
really good practice, if that's okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so there's also like the laughter yoga practice, which is a
Uh-huh.
really great way to transform and move
Yeah,
energy, like stuck energy, and open your
yeah,
heart.
yeah, yeah.
And with 10-15 minutes a day, you want to do it every day. And
Yeah.
we can put some links in the description box of my
Yeah.
channel, and then there's
Yeah.
plenty
Yeah.
of other people as well
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that. But that's a great practice too. Yeah,
Yeah. I was going to bring it up, but I wasn't sure that you wanted to talk about the laughter yoga, but because it's so funny.
I know.
Just
It's so,
kidding.
it's a lot of fun, actually.
It is
It
fun. No,
really,
no, no,
really
no,
is.
no. It is a lot of fun. And you know what? It goes back to that same thing that I read all the time in self-help books, where they say, just smile and you'll feel better. Force yourself to smile and you'll feel better. It's the same thing. Force yourself to laugh And I mean, I've done it, and I've gone to your laughter yoga before, and you do feel much lighter. You feel better. You feel more energetic. You feel more human. You feel like having more fun in life, So I think it's great. You wake up in the morning and you do some laughter yoga instead of like traditional stretching yoga, and then you'll have a positive day. I
Yeah.
really think that. Yeah.
It works. I mean, it's like one of the best practices in 10-15 minutes. It just
Yeah.
totally flip the energy and make it feel fun and creative. Like it's just awesome, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
remember I remember the first time we were doing laughter yoga together, and you were started laughing, and then I was trying to laugh, but then just watching you laugh made me laugh because it looked so funny. And then you start forcing yourself to laugh, and then you start laughing at yourself,
You
because
do.
the
Yeah.
sound, you're making that sound out, and then you're like, man, this is so funny. And then you start laughing. It's like that laughter creates more laughter, creates more laughter. It's really cool. It's like it's contagious.
It is contagious, and it's actually like it's the same kind of cardiovascular workout than going to the being on a treadmill. So I
Yeah.
prefer that than going on a treadmill. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's awesome.
So yeah. Well, thanks, Eric. It's fun talking to you.
Thanks for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this episode of the Vlogmas Challenge, and I hope for the first time this is adding value to your life. I know for the past 16 days, I've been just hitting record and uploading, which is the whole idea behind the Vlogmas Challenge, but at the same time, thinking about how to provide value to you, the viewer. And I think this is like the first time I've gotten to accomplish this, so I'm very excited about this particular video, and I really, really hope that it's going to help you get a little bit, help you get through the holidays, help you start off the new year on the right foot, help you have a more positive mind frame. I'll see you tomorrow.